Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Rick out here at the NJP Ranch, doing a little beta testing for the Trainz team today. 2nd of April 2020, we did some beta testing. That's U.S. time. That's April 3rd, of course, Australian time. And doing multiplayer Surveyor testing today. And finally got everything all squared away and sorted so I can get in there. And this is what our server actually kind of looks like right now. It's, at least at the time I landed on it anyway, it changes constantly because there's quite a few of us in there playing around. Now these red pieces, that's just stuff that hasn't rendered in the server yet. They're new chunks or whatever you want to call it. And as I back away, you can see this is the size of our world as we know it at the moment. And right now, there's about between 20 and 22 of us in there. And all these noises, all the noises from the animals just kind of cracked me up for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I just found it very funny. So, yeah. We run into little latency issues every once in a while with the server, but overall, it's running pretty smoothly here. And I'm in Wisconsin, so... I'm pretty sure the server is based in Australia someplace where N3V Games is. This is really, really cool. I mean, I absolutely love this. And I'm letting the sound from the video play in the background because I just think it sounds really cool. This is what it sounds like to be on the server. It's just the ambience of it. So I'm wandering around here trying to find my own little chunk of ground or a piece of earth or what do you want to call it, a piece of mud to build something on. And thinking that right along in here is probably a good place to start off. So let's. I'm just going to build a little yard down through here. I don't know, 4, 5, 6 tracks maybe. Just I'm sure there's a bigger yard someplace. I haven't explored the whole server yet. I probably should, but I got 3 tracks laid down and working on some more. There's one point along in here where right here. This is where we ran into what's called high latency. And when the server goes into high latency mode, you can't do anything. You can look around, you can move around, but you can't place anything. You can't move any objects around. So at this point, we were at a high latency, and eventually it recovered, came back, and I discovered. Actually, Joe approached me and discovered the anomaly when you delete switches like this here. When you do delete the tail tracks and then you take the switches off that were abandoned. It leaves little artifacts behind for some reason or another, and we're kind of looking into that. They do go away if you go away and you come back to the scene a little bit later on, or if you move anything on the tracks, they'll go away then. So it's not a big major problem, major issue or anything like that, but just kind of interesting. I think you can see them kind of sitting there. Like I said, once you move the track or do anything, if you straighten it and unstraighten it, they'll go away. So it's not a big deal. It's not a game breaker or anything like that. There are quite a few things in here that do need some work. It's a little buggy. I mean, it's to be expected. It's a new feature here. So anyway, looking around now, here's where this is where my game completely locked up. The server went into latency mode and my game locked up. I had to do a cold restart. I had to do a hard stop on it and restart it. So not sure what happened there, if it was on my end or if it was on the server end, but something happened there. And there we go, back over to my little corner of the world, my little piece of dirt, and it turned into a 4-track yard, and I'm looking around trying to figure out where am I going to go with this thing. What am I going to do, hook up with? And then I discovered this. This is pretty cool. You'll probably recognize this from the opening scene. Yeah, I kind of stole that, stole a screenshot of that and used that. So whoever made that, absolutely brilliant. I love it. and this is something that you have to look forward to when you're playing around on these. I mean, if you want to put up a server just to play around with, you can do that. And it hasn't gotten that far yet. This is only the 3rd or 4th testing session, so there's a long ways to go. And the question has been asked if this is going to be a paid service, and I do believe you're going to have to do a subscription to this because it is a game server, basically like any other game server where you have to pay a subscription to have a certain size server, and I would be surprised if it is not a subscription service. So kind of answer that question for you. And I see somebody laid some grass down on one end of my yard. That was not there before. Somebody decided to put that up. So I did a little bit of terraforming here, just kind of putting the server not necessarily through its paces. And at this point, and again, remember, there's between 15 and 20 of us on the server. And I'm doing a little bit of time lapse here and skipping over a lot of stuff. The session was about 2.5 hours long. And it was a good time, and like I said, you can hear in the background, you hear all these different things going on, and this, I had to do a double take on this because somebody's got a real cool, yeah, I had to come back to look at this. This is going to be a really neat little layout here for a city neighborhood, or whatever they're going to do with it. And I see they have railroad tracks running through there. So whoever's building this, salute to you, man. That was a lot of work putting all those streets down like that. So very well done. A lot of water on here, a lot of open water. So there's floating tracks, and I haven't got to any of the areas where there's shenanigans going on, but I'm sure there's some of that. Now, I'm actually laying down some more track coming out of my yard. I've found a place where I think I might be able to tie in. I have to talk to the person who put that up over here, but I might be able to tie into their line, and I'm not going to use the yard lead as the main line, so I will eventually lay down a main line. Now, I wanted to do here, this little outrigging or outcropping here, I wanted to blast a tunnel through there. Just for the main line, a single track tunnel through there. And much to my disappointment, I discovered that tunnels are not available yet in multiplayer Surveyor. So yeah, I was searching, looking around, I said, wait a minute, no tunnels? Rats. So I ended up having to, I just laid down some track here going off in a random direction here, and a little crestfallen by the no tunnels thing. No, not really, but I just decided to lay the track in there and just blast a valley through there. Can't put a tunnel up? Well, we'll make a valley out of it. What the heck? Why not, right? We'll daylight the doggone thing. And that opens up a possibility for the yard lead coming off there, if you saw it in the background there. So little chances of things going on. And here I'm adding baseboards on so that they're red right now because the server's putting them into doing whatever the server does with them so that they're visible, so everybody can see them and enjoy their opulence. What? But yeah, these hills got a little ridiculous, so I decided to do a little bit more terraforming along here, and things are starting to quiet down a little bit. A few people have ducked out already and decided that they've had enough playing around on the server, but I decided to hang around here right pretty much to the end. I didn't stick around until they shut the server off completely, but I did stick around for quite a while. I was having a good time here, enjoying this. So it's kind of like any other, whoops, there's some cars sitting sideways on the track over there. Well, yeah, you don't like when that happens. And I kept hearing all this, there's just a few of us left on the server by this point. There's, 4 or 5 of us on there, maybe 3 or 4. But this is the way the world had grown just in the time that we were on there in a couple hours. So a whole lot going on out there. I don't know how they got those things planted out in space out there. But, well, actually, I do know how they did it. But I won't bore you by describing that now. And, yeah, somebody decided to put the MPS underwater now. So those are all islands, which is really cool. And but the only uncool thing about that is I was going to run a track over that way. And, well, I probably won't be able to do that now unless I want to make the train into a submarine. But yeah, it was an interesting session. We didn't really do a lot of, it wasn't really directed or anything. It was basically come in and do whatever at random and watch for errors and reports and stuff like that. And we're going to come up on a what I consider kind of a humorous thing. By now there's like I said, there's 2, 3, maybe 4 of us on the server, and the shadows are kind of acting weird here, a little janky looking on the shadows, but that might have been just my LODs going crazy on me. Yeah, you can hear chainsaws. I hear trains running, but I don't see anything. What in the world is going on with that? You keep hearing this stuff, but there's really nothing going on there. But I like this area here. I'm not sure who's building this. I don't know who's working where. This almost looks like some of Joe's work, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to say for sure. So I had to investigate where all that sound was coming from. Where was that noise coming from? And this is where it gets a little bit humorous. There's another city going together there, and like I said, I don't know who's doing all this, but this is where I actually started. It's obviously a bug, a glitch in the game, but I just had to laugh at this because by now it's just me and one other guy on the server. 2.5 hours or something like that. 2.5 hours. Everybody else kind of got tired and bugged out. Now look, that car on the left just pooped out a boxcar. What? How in the world? What? What the heck? So this is where all that racket was coming from over here. There's no locomotives, but look, collision? Nope, they just go right through each other. And it was just going like that. And I'm sure there was nobody over in this area, but you just got boxcars moving all over the place, kind of bouncing around and running, clipping through each other. And now those hooked up, the ones on the left, but going further up the line here, this whole area was completely alive with cars just moving and, you know, clipping through each other all around the whole thing here. So, like I said, I got quite a laugh out of that, and I captured some screenshots of that, sent it back to N3V, of course, and I'm sure they'll want to take a look at this video here and see, what the heck was that about? So, and as far as I know, they're still actually doing that. You know, I don't know if they're in a Mobius loop of some kind or what's going on there, but yeah, I just had to get one more view of this before we took off out of here. So that's taking fly switching to a whole new level. But anyway, that's about all really, like I said, it was an undirected session where you just basically go on there free for all, and we had a fun time, a little session. It was kind of productive, a lot of reports coming through and stuff like that. And so that's going to wrap it up for this part of it. April 3rd in Australia, April 2nd here in the United States. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time, and we'll see you back in the beta testing again. For now, NJP saying so long. We'll talk again soon. And of course, as always, until we talk again, keep on doing what it is you do.